Stepping up to the couch, it's Brian, who led the league last season in cracked screens. But with his new athletic case, it looks like that won't be the case. Touchdown, Brian!
Yo, what is up guys? It's me, Zach Lee. Hope you're all having a great day, but you already know that we got some things that we gotta talk about today, so let's get right into it. To start off the day, you guys already knew that I was going to have to talk about these rumors that we got out yesterday regarding the Detroit Pistons, my favorite team, having interest in trading for Markelle Fultz. Now, when this news hit me, I didn't quite know how to feel. I already knew that the Pistons were going to be looking to make moves this season. That's no secret, because outside of Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin, they really ain't got too much else. Everyone else can be upgraded. And as it stands right now, as long as Blake Griffin can stay healthy, sure, I do see the Pistons making the playoffs as a 6th, 7th, or 8th seed. But that seems to be about all we can expect from this roster as of right now. Anyways, for this rumor about the Pistons having interest in trading for Markelle Fultz, this report comes from Vincent Ellis, a local reporter who reports on the Detroit Pistons, as he said that the Pistons have inquired about the availability of Fultz, whom they believe might be a serviceable backup to Ish Smith and assume a larger role if Reggie Jackson, whose contract expires after next season, departs in the coming months. So basically, from the sound of things, the Detroit Pistons are looking into the idea of trading away Reggie Jackson this season. And if that happens, then Ish Smith is going to be promoted to a starting point guard, meaning that they will now need a backup point guard, and that role would fall upon Markelle Fultz. However, I do think that it's more likely that the Pistons trade away Ish Smith, since I think he has a lot more trade value than Reggie Jackson, and he'd be a lot easier to trade, considering I don't think too many teams are going to be interested in trading for Reggie Jackson since he's making a decent amount of money up until 2020. But the main topic at hand here is still Markelle Fultz. So now the question is, should the Pistons actually look to trade for Markelle Fultz? And what could a player like Markelle Fultz bring to this team right now? And this is where things get very, very interesting, because after thinking about this for hours, I have come to the conclusion that it makes a heck of a lot of sense for the Detroit Pistons to trade for Markelle Fultz, and here's why. It's because the Detroit Pistons aren't in that great of a situation. Yes, they have Blake Griffin, and he's been playing phenomenally so far this season. That is terrific. Andre Drummond is having the best season of his career. That's also terrific. But the reality of the situation is the Pistons are still one of those fringe, borderline, not playoff teams in the Eastern Conference that they have been for the past few years. And Detroit really doesn't have many assets to improve as a team outside of hoping that Stanley Johnson develops, as well as Luke Kennard. This could be really as good as this Pistons team gets right now. We don't have the assets to go out and trade for a big name free agent. We're not bad enough to get that star player in the draft, and sure as heck no one's coming here in free agency. So the Pistons are kind of stuck, which is why trading for a player who at least has the upside of Markelle Fultz is an opportunity that the Pistons might not be able to pass up on. And on top of that, it's not like the Pistons would have to trade a lot to get Markelle Fultz anyways. The Sixers have made it known that they're not looking for a lot in exchange for Markelle Fultz. Expiring contracts or draft picks, that's all they really want. So for the Pistons, if it costs us a player like Reggie Bullock plus a second round, a couple of second round draft picks, or a future protected first round draft pick, I think that's completely worth it to land a player of Markelle Fultz's caliber. And if Fultz does develop into the player that we all thought he was going to be coming out of the draft, then the Pistons just won big time. Now they have that third star to pair next to Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond. And on the other hand, if for some reason the Detroit Pistons management decides, you know what, this team just isn't going to work out, it might be best if we try and move Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond while their trade value are high, then Markelle Fultz becomes a cornerstone for a rebuilding franchise. So either way you look at it, it makes a lot of sense for the Detroit Pistons to be interested in Markelle Fultz. I can't imagine what must be going through Jabari Parker's head right now. This summer, Jabari Parker was so excited and so happy that he was able to sign a contract with his hometown team, the Chicago Bulls. 2 years, $40 million. We all knew at the time that the Bulls were taking a huge risk in giving Jabari Parker that kind of money. But then again, it was the Bulls and they had money to spend, so it didn't really matter. Why not throw it at Jabari Parker and hopefully he develops into the player that we all thought he could be? But so far, that hasn't been the case. Matter of fact, we had a huge red flag go off knowing that this wasn't going to work as soon as Jabari Parker signed. Because as soon as he got that money from Chicago, he was like, I still ain't about to be playing defense because they don't pay me to play defense, they pay me to score the basketball. So he said that he's not going to be playing defense, and that was the only red flag that we ever needed to see to know that this wasn't going to work out, and it's not. As according to reports, Jabari Parker's days of playing for his hometown team are already done, as the Bulls have decided to pull Jabari Parker from the rotation completely now. Reports also said that a buyout, of course, hasn't been discussed yet, but seeing as to how trading him will be utterly impossible, a buyout will become very likely as the season progresses. Now though, I do have some things that I want to say on all of this, and the first thing is, Chicago, what on earth made you think that getting Jabari Parker in the first place was a good idea? You already had Lauri Markkanen, who proved he's going to be one of your franchise players last year. You used your 7th pick in this year's draft on Wendell Carter Jr., another frontcourt player. We thought that was going to be the future of the frontcourt for the Chicago Bulls, and Wendell Carter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen. But then you go throw $40 million at Jabari Parker, and it's like, what exactly is your master plan here? Were you planning to have a frontcourt including Jabari Parker and Lauri Markkanen? You thought that was going to work, then you need to get your head checked. That would be one of the worst defenses in the NBA automatically. I don't care how good offensively they were, defensively, they would be the trashiest of trash. So Wendell Carter Jr. and Lauri Markkanen makes a heck of a lot more sense than Jabari Parker and Lauri Markkanen, and everyone knew this coming into it. So once again, why on earth did the Chicago Bulls decide they wanted to give $40 million to Jabari Parker? As for Jabari Parker, if he would just try on the defensive end, just try, this wouldn't be a problem for him, because I know a lot of teams will still be interested in adding him to their roster. But the man really shot himself in the foot when he said that he doesn't get paid to play defense. Look, Jabari Parker, you get paid to play basketball. How are you gonna say that you don't get paid to play defense? You're getting paid $20 million a season to play basketball. Part of playing basketball includes playing defense. And the last thing we have to talk about today involves James Harden and the Los Angeles Lakers. All right, so James Harden and the Rockets were able to beat LA last night 126-111 behind a 50-point triple-double from James Harden. 50 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds for him on the night. A great game from a great player, but there's a catch. And that catch was James Harden getting to the free throw line 19 times. Man was 18 of 19 from the charity stripe. And I want to preface everything I'm about to say by saying that I have nothing against James Harden as a person or a player. Man is a fantastic player, a phenomenal talent. But that being said, how on earth does James Harden consistently get to the free throw line? How on earth do the referees continue to reward him, knowing good and well what he is doing up there on the basketball court? The man fouls himself using the defender's body. And LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers sounded off on this after they lost to the Houston Rockets last night, as LeBron James essentially said that the Rockets have 2 of the best floppers in the league, just trying to defend without fouling. That's a point of emphasis anytime you play Houston. They got guys that can sell calls really good, Chris Paul and James Harden, so you have to try and keep your hands out of the cookie jar. And Luke Walton says that defending the Rockets without using your hands is literally impossible, but the Lakers tried to do it and they were still getting whistled for calls. How hard is it to play defense like that? It's tough. I think they were just trying to make a point. We're not using our arms here. Stop calling fouls. But we can't. Whenever we get frustrated or not, we can't let that affect us going under screens or not communicating, which I thought we could have done a better job of tonight. In this game, there was a point where LeBron James, Lonzo Ball, and a few other Lakers players were trying to defend the Houston Rockets by literally having their arms behind their back. They were playing defense with no arms. That's how committed they were to trying to stop James Harden from getting to the free throw line, and that still wasn't enough. It's just utterly ridiculous how James Harden can keep getting away with this stuff. Back when Dwayne Wade and Paul Pierce used to have their little cheesy move to get to the free throw line where they would pump fake you and then jump into the body of the defender to draw the foul. Yeah, they used to do that all the time until the league outlawed that and said that you can't jump into the body of a defender to try and draw a shooting foul. That no longer works. So why is it that the league keeps allowing to James Harden to do what he's been doing, where he grapples the arm of the defender when he goes up for the shot to draw a foul? I'm not gonna lie, like I said, even though I have nothing against James Harden personally, whenever he plays against the Pistons or whenever he plays against your favorite team, you know there is nothing that is more infuriating than watching him go to the free throw line to shoot 3 free throws because he fouled himself using the defender's body. That gets under my nerves like nothing else. Anyways, that is going to do it for everything that we had to talk about today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, go ahead and leave a like on the video as well as subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with everything that goes on in the NBA every Monday through Friday. Thank you once again for watching, though. You guys already know that you are the real MVPs. That being said, until Monday, I'm out of here. Peace!